So the truth is, what he's saying is something we should take seriously. And even more seriously because he mentioned the Jonathan treatment. And we all know the Jonathan treatment. What was the Jonathan treatment? A lot of people felt that Jonathan violated certain agreements because he was not supposed to come back for a second term. He said he was going to do one term. And the PDP had internal crisis and the North went against them. So pretty much that's the thrust of the conversation. And he kept on warning that we'll be like the PDP if we don't check our internal mechanisms. The question a lot of people have asked, like Boala we had here yesterday, will always ask Rufai, is the fact that if you were in government, if they passed your security clearance, would you still say all of this? But let's also forget that a couple of people have pivoted out of the APC, the likes of Saliu Lukman, Rufai, and this.
She's still in the APC.
I mean, pivoted in the sense that out of this government.
Okay.
Saliu Lukman has been a firm critic of this government. He's been calling for coalitions of other political parties that they can actually do it. Rufai says he's still in the APC, but there are political talks here and there. And he has been criticizing this government big time. The truth has to be said. The North has a very big voting bloc. We can't deny that fact. In fact, after every election result, when you bring in what I call the Kardashian states, the KKK states, when those numbers come in, Katsina, Kano, Kaduna, those numbers are really huge, and they make the difference. And this Rufai was a fundamental factor in winning those areas before, in the last election. Because we remember the work he did for Tinubu. In fact, we remember the controversy around it then when people were saying, was he going to support Tinubu or not? And finally got the support. Even when they had the Naira crisis, it was one of those that stood with Tinubu and all of that. So everybody thought it was a given he was going to serve in this cabinet. But what happened, happened. We've also heard a lot of discordant tunes out of the North. People are disgruntled and everything. I mean, take, for instance, the interview we had with Additional. After the announcement, Daily Trust carried it. The League of Northern Democrats did come out firmly. And I was at the party in Abidjan when I saw the likes of Shekarawu and all of that, a couple of other people there. So I'm not surprised that the League of Northern Democrats are saying, if he comes out, we'll support him. That's another political dynamics. Also, attaching with the political dynamics of Atiku Abubakar going to see Olusegun Obasanjo, my sources now tell me that that meeting was 100% political. And in fact, there were conversations made about concessions on who is probably going to take a VP role. So with all of this brewing, President Tinubu needs to watch it strongly. What is the counter-argument in favor of President Tinubu? A lot of his supporters say, you know, he's a master strategist. Yes. Just like how a lot of people in Aso Rock supported other candidates, nobody gave Tinubu a chance to emerge in this last election, but he outplayed all of them and he played his game right. Last minute, he made those consolidations. A lot of people felt people within the villa tilted more towards Atiku Abubakar and other candidates. So if that same northern base that came through for Tinubu, because Tinubu lost Lagos in the last election, he lost his base and all of that, he didn't do too well in a couple of other areas of the south, but when he came to the north, he consolidated his vote. If his major base that voted for him are talking like this, then he should take it strongly. What have been the arguments? The arguments have been, yes, he's been nepotistic in nature. They've said, oh, in fact, they don't even say he gave positions to people in the south. They say he gave it to the Lagos boys. That's the argument. In fact, somebody was telling me the other day as regards, you know, carried up by fast. Oh, railway. Somebody would have thought he should have gone to the north or something. Then he's gone to another Lagos boy, as it were. But that doesn't shroud carried up by fast competence. In all of this, what should he do? Tinubu needs to reach out. He's been doing a lot. I mean, there was a couple of, you know, overtures being made, like you said, about his wife and all of that. But he also needs to reach out. But a lot of people are also confident that Tinubu is a master strategist. He's going to bring the North in before the election. He's going to consolidate his base, that other people are just talking. And the fact that most of the other political parties are not settled. In fact, you want to run an election in 2027, you are talking about a coalition, but people have not agreed. Obi wants to run, Atiku wants to run, Saraki wants to run, everybody wants to run. But Tinubu is the only constant factor here because he's incumbent.